Hello, this is Kimberly Rowland from Fairbanks, Alaska, reporting for the Unit 12 assignment for weather forecasting. So, for this excuse me, week of weather, there is a general warming trend in all of the sites. This first one we have up is for Craig, and as you can see, the weather started out kind of cold. And it warmed gradually and then cooled toward the end of the week. But overall in the state weather there was a warming trend. And here's Anchorage, and they had a very severe warming trend, or not sure severe is the right word, but they had quite a warming trend over the week. It went up 40 degrees. The same period of time, Wasilla also had quite a warming trend. They started out quite a bit colder, like 20 degrees below zero, where Anchorage on the same day, if we look back, was at zero right here. Which I find interesting because they're only like an hour apart from each other. That Wasilla would be 20 degrees colder, but they are inland and they're not right on the coast, so possibly that's an explanation for it. Also, they warmed quite a bit more than Anchorage did in terms of how many degrees they went up. Went up almost 60 degrees, or I'm sorry, 50 degrees from -20 to a little above 30 above, which I'm sure was nice for them. And here we have the Fairbanks weather. Not surprisingly, started out at like 40 below, which we are in the interior, so that can kind of be expected to have more severe weather things, temperature changes. And then here we climbed and climbed and climbed, and then dropped down a little bit. These big spikes in the temperature during the day, during one period of 24 hours, that's associated with like morning and then warming in the afternoon and cooling again. And that's why there's so many different spikes during the days. And yeah, it was a gradual warming trend to about 10 above, which is very nice, from 40 below. And then for Kotzebue,
That's some crazy looking graphs you got there.
So for the week in Kotzebue, they started out at -5, which isn't too surprising since they are on the coast. And their temperature was a little more sporadic all over the place, although they did warm up to like 20 above, which was probably very nice for them. And so that's it for the average temperatures. I think probably the reason there's such a big difference between the like Craig and the interior for the big spikes in the temperature and temperatures and like that, it has to do with being on the coast, where the ocean acts as a moderating force, so it basically keeps them cool in the summer and warm in the winter, and keeps the temperature from going up and down crazily, because water doesn't heat up or cool off as quickly as land does. So in the interior and places where there's lots of land around it, for example, the difference between Anchorage and Wasilla is probably just the proximity to the water. So here are the TV weather maps excuse me, for Monday. As you remember from the temperature graphs we just looked at, pretty much everyone started out cold, although cold is relative depending on where you were at. It could be like 0, or it could be as cold as -40. But here you can see the state was pretty much covered with clouds, blocking out the sunlight, keeping it nice and cool. Or nice, well, I shouldn't say nice and cool. Pretty cold if you were in the interior. And there were high pressure systems across the state with this low sneaking in over here. So let's see. Here was the forecast for the next day. and the next day. And then this is the weather map for Wednesday, and by Wednesday, the places had started to warm up probably like by midway, halfway through the week. As you can see, the clouds were breaking up. It's not quite as thick, and the high is dispersing and the low is moving in quicker, which is resulting in the changing weather pattern. This is Thursdays. By now the low is kind of centered over western Alaska and south central and southeast. For Craig, they had nice warm temperatures. For Friday, as you can tell, the clouds are pretty much dispersed here. More thinner, I guess, here. It's still quite a bit warmer, but they're moving in over here, which is why Anchorage and southeast is getting colder, or experiencing a little bit of a cooling toward the end of the week. And then the forecast showing it moving in cooler temperatures for southeast, Craig in particular. And then Sundays, which once again shows the cooling over southeast. I think with the predictions being so out of whack for some of these places and not for others, the most accurate predictions were once again for the southeast and Anchorage, the places on the coast where the water in the ocean acts as a moderating force and keeps the temperatures in pretty narrow limits. So the weather there doesn't have chances or opportunity, I guess, to go super high or super low. So it's easier, I guess I would say, to predict the weather for those places than in Fairbanks, where it's surrounded by a huge landmass and you can have really high temperatures during the day and really low temperatures at night. In the summertime, because the land is heating up and cooling off really quickly, and it's a lot more variable. Again, in the summertime, getting thunderstorms and stuff in the afternoon or evening. And anyway, so that's it for my Unit 12 weather forecast. Anyway, thank you. Goodbye.